In this tutorial, we are looking at the fundamental rules and the basics of MLA citations, the 9th edition. Basic core elements of an MLA citation. In this tutorial, we will cover the 9 core elements of an MLA citation, including the author, title, container, contributors, version, numbers, publisher, publication date, and location, to accurately format entries for the Works Cited page. Let's review the 9 core elements of an MLA citation. The first element is the author. In your Works Cited page, start the citation with the author's last name, then their first name. The author of a source can be an individual, a corporation, a group, an editor, a translator, a performer, a director, or an author who uses a pseudonym. Formatting details depend on the number of authors. When there are 2 authors, you separate the author's name by the word "and." Only the first author's name is inverted. Subsequent authors are written in standard order, first name, then last name. If the author has a middle name, it is placed after the author's first name, as you can see in the example. In MLA style, for sources with 3 or more authors, list only the first author's name, followed by ETAL. If there is no author, start the citation with the title of the source. The second element of an MLA citation is the title of the source. The source you're citing could be a magazine, newspaper, or journal article, or even the episode of a television show. If the title is part of a larger work, such as an article from a magazine, an episode of a television show, or a song from an album, the title is formatted in quotation marks. If you are citing a larger work, such as an album, a television show, or a book, the title of the source is italicized. The third element of an MLA citation is the title of the container, or where the source was published. The container could be a journal, a magazine, newspaper, or book. The fourth element of an MLA citation is the contributor. In MLA style, contributors are editors, translators, or directors. They are credited after the title of the work using a descriptive phrase, for example, translated by or edited by. Do not abbreviate these roles. If there are multiple contributors, list them in the normal first name, last name order, separated by "and." If a work has 3 or more contributors with the same role, list the first one followed by ETAL. The fifth element of an MLA citation is version. In MLA style, the version indicates the specific iteration of a source, such as a second edition, a director's cut, or unabridged version. The sixth element of an MLA citation is number. In MLA style, the number element denotes numerical sequences like journal issues, seasons of a TV show, or volumes of multiple volume books. In MLA style, the publisher is the 7th element. It is the organization primarily responsible for producing the work or making it available to the public. In MLA style, the publication date is the 8th element. It is formatted using the day, month, and year order. For example, 15 August 2026. Always abbreviate months longer than 4 letters. For example, January would be JAN period, February would be FEB period, and follow the date with a comma. In MLA style, the location is the ninth element, or the final element to your citation. It tells the reader exactly where the cited source can be found. The format depends entirely on the medium of the source, with the location generally placed at the end of the citation, followed by a period. A website or web page citation may include an access date. For online sources, MLA advises including an access date for a source with no publication date listed, a source that continually is updated, or a source that may have been deleted since you used it. At the end of the works cited entry, write accessed followed by the day, month, and year on which you accessed the source. And just a friendly reminder, if a source does not have an element, just skip it. Now we'll move on to citing sources. We cannot address MLA citations without discussing artificial intelligence, or AI. Again, the core rule of MLA style is that an AI tool is never treated as an author. Instead, you describe the prompt in the title slot and treat the AI tool as the container. To build an MLA citation for AI, use the specific sequence of elements that we will review below. Let's look at the general format for AI-generated text. The elements you will need are the full text of your prompt, the name of the AI tool you used, the model and version of the AI tool, the company that made the tool, and the month, day, and year the prompt was generated, and the shareable URL to the specific chat conversation if available. Here is an example of a works cited entry from ChatGPT. Included in the prompt used is the name of the AI tool, ChatGPT, the model and version of ChatGPT, the company's name that made the tool, and the day, month, and year the prompt was generated, and the URL to ChatGPT. On another note, MLA recommends providing a shareable URL to the specific conversation if available. Otherwise, use the general tool's URL. When you generate an image such as a chart or infographic using an AI tool and you place it in your essay, MLA format requires you to provide a caption with citation information under the image within the body of your paper. You do not put a citation for the image on the works cited page. Let's look at the basic format for AI-generated images. First, you'll provide the figure number for the image. Next, you will then need to provide the description of the prompt you used. Then, you will need to name the AI tool, followed by the version of the AI tool. Then, the company's name that created the AI tool, and then the day, month, and year the image was generated. If there is a shareable URL to the chat, you will put it at the end of the citation. Also note, each image must start with a figure number. All visual images and illustrations in an MLA essay are numbered sequentially. This is the general format for a book in MLA. It is the author's name followed by the title of the book, the publisher, and then the last element is the publication date. So let's practice. Let's practice citing a book chapter. In this example, we'll be identifying the elements needed to cite a book chapter from a book titled The Cambridge Companion to Jane Austen, written by Edward Copeland. Let's identify the first element we need for our citation, the author. From this example, we can see that the author is Edward Copeland. The next element is the title of the source. The title of the book chapter is Money. The next element is the title of the container, or where the book chapter Money can be located. It comes from the book titled The Cambridge Companion to Jane Austen. The fourth element in MLA citation is contributors. The book was edited by Edward Copeland and Julie McMaster. There is no version or issue number for this source because it's not a journal article, it's a book chapter. Therefore, we're going to move on to the seventh element, or the publisher. The publisher for this source is the Cambridge University Press. The eighth element of MLA citation is the publication date. The publication date for this book is 1997. The ninth element is the location of the source. This book chapter can be found on pages 131 through 148. Now that we have all of the elements for this book chapter citation, let's look at the final citation. This would be what you would see on the works cited page of your essay. Let's now move on to looking at how you would format a MLA citation for a website. Let's go through the elements. The first element you'll need are the author or authors' names, followed then by the title of the website or the website's webpage article title, then followed by the container, the name of the website, followed then by the publisher, so whoever published this website, and then the date in which the website was last updated or when the article was published on the site, followed then by the URL for the web page or website. Now let's practice citing a website. From this screenshot, we can see that the authors are Eleanor Nielsen and Tim DeChant. The title of the article is Genetically Engineering Almost Anything. The container, or where this web article can be found, is on the website Nova Next. There are no contributors, there's no version or numbers or issue numbers. So we'll move on then to the publisher. The publisher for this website is PBS/WFSU. The date when this article was published on the website was on the 17th of July of 2014. And the location of this website is at www.pbs.org/WGBH/Nova, NOVA/next/evolution, EVOLUTION/CRISPR-gene GENE-drives, DRIVES, and then it ends with a period. This is how the final citation would appear on the works cited page of an essay. Now let's take a look at the general formatting for our final source type, a journal article. The elements for a journal article citation are the author or authors, followed then by the title of the source or the title of the article, then the title of the container or the name of the journal from where the article was published, then followed by the number, which is the volume number, and then issue number. Then comes the publication date for the journal article, followed then by the location, which would be the page numbers from within the journal where this article can be found, then followed by the name of the database where you located the article, and then you would include the DOI or a URL for the article. So now let's practice. Now let's take a look at a screenshot of the records page from within a database of a journal article. The first thing that we need to look for in order to create our citation for this journal article is who is the author of this article. According to the records page, the author is Brian E. Weber. The next element is going to be the title of the journal article. So according to the record, the title for this particular journal article is going to be the psychological implications of a vision disorder. The next element is going to be where this article was published. This article was published in the Journal of Analytical Psychology. There is no contributors, there is no versions that we can identify. So let's move on to the next elements, which is going to be the volume and issue number for this particular journal. And in this case, we can see the volume is going to be 62 and the issue number is going to be 2. The next element is going to be the publication date for this particular article. And according to this record page, this article was published in April of 2017. Now, let's move on to the next element, which is going to be where is this article located within the journal. According to the records page, this journal article was published on pages 205 through 226 in this particular publication. And now let's look for our final elements, and that's going to be where is this journal indexed in our database, or should I say, where is this journal found? And so it is found in the database Academic Search Complete. And then now we need the final element, which is going to be the link to the article within Academic Search Complete, known as the permalink. And that's going to be our last element. And remember, guys, you're not going to use the URL in the browser. You will need to use, if there is a permalink available that you may find under the database tools for the particular journal. And so, with that said, let's now look at the final citation for this journal article. So let's talk about stable URLs. The URL in the browser is not the database URL. It will not take you back to the article. Instead, you must find the stable URL in the database's toolbar. As in the case of EBSCO databases, you will find the permalink or stable URL under the share icon. Click on it, and you should then be brought to the permalink or the stable URL to copy and paste into your citation. In most databases, you can also find a citation generator. As with EBSCO databases, you can find the citation generator under the toolbar as seen on the screen. However, I caution, not all citations are correct, and copying and pasting citations from online to a Word document can cause formatting to be lost. This is why having some general knowledge of citation styles is a great skill to have as a researcher. If after viewing this video you have additional questions about MLA citations, please feel free to contact the Lawson State Library. Remember, we are here to help. Happy searching!